And we would like to encourage and thank any media outlets that will be watching this program today, and or attorneys' offices that may be watching this program today, using it for your reference as far as the facts and where the American people stand as far as their small business grants that were promised to them that they never got goes. So we would like to use this video as a tutorial to educate you on the facts and disclosures and the litigation records in the news, records in Congress, papers that were signed, the CARES Act signatures, the pretty much all of it. We're going to try to give you as much information on the facts as we can to get you to be able to see more clearly what has happened to the American people. I would like to call Charles Schumer to the stand. All right, Mr. Schumer, first of all, what I would like to show you, let me get my head back up here again, is on April 2nd of 2020, you had written a letter to the Honorable Jovita Carranza, I believe, right here. And let me just make sure. Schumer. I didn't write it in color, but you had signed right here next to, right above Christopher Coons and next to Ben Cardin. Down here was Bernie Sanders. You signed this note as you were going to, as you were addressing the SBA administrator at the time, Jovita Carranza, regarding the EIDL grants. If I could read that to you, I will bring it up in the other dialogue here for you. I'd like to make sure we're reading the same document. We can all see that this was April 20th of 2020. I would like to put this in front and note this is Exhibit A. Going to Washington, D.C., the Honorable Jovita Carranza from Schumer. Let me make that come on down here where I can see your signature a little bit better. Yes, there we are. Now, would you say that's your signature? Sir, I do believe it is. Okay, there we go. This is your signature, sir. I believe Charles Schumer, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is right above Christopher Coons, the United States Senator, as well as next to Ben Cardin and Bernie Sanders, who have also signed this document regarding the EIDL grant, and this was on April 2nd of 2020. Once again, you were going to directing this towards the then administrator at the time, who was Jovita Carranza. Is this your signature? I will take that as a yes. And I'm going to read up here. It says the CARES Act included a requirement that a $10,000 grant be awarded within 3 days of the application. So everybody that was filling out this application, it says here, was to be getting this $10,000 grant. Economic injury disaster loan to the SBA Injury Disaster Loan Program to help cover operating expenses while waiting for the loan processing. Our SBA staff prepared to fulfill this requirement, you asked, and by no means is comprehensive list considered comprehensive of the many issues that must be considered in the implementation of the SBA's program included in the CARES Act. We hope that you will closely consider each of these topics and others that we engage you in these days, weeks, months ahead to ensure the SBA is implementing the program according to congressional intent in such a way that can be served the nation's smallest business. So I believe that what you were saying here was we were looking, the Carranza was not implementing these to the congressional intent. It wasn't the intent of Congress, and she ended up going in her own on her own direction here. Is that correct? I believe it is. So I would also like to, next, if I could bring up to you, sir, this other document to the Congress of the from Congress of the United States here, showing. Let me show this to them. Get you out of the way again. This document here which was written on April 25th, 2020, to Steve Mnuchin and Jovita Carranza. I believe that if I go down to award the SBA, let me just pull it up for you so you can see that a little bit better. How about that? But before I go to that, let me just go ahead and pull that up for you. Today is April 25th of 2020. You wrote this to the Honorable Steve Mnuchin and Jovita Carranza. Open that up. And if I could come down here and we can read what you signed here, sir. Award $10,000 emergency EIDL grants as intended. So the whole key here is the intention of Congress. What Congress intended was not being implemented. Isn't that correct? That Jovita Carranza ended up implementing $1,000 per employee is what you're saying, instead of $10,000 per business, per person, per business. And that's pretty much what you're stating here. Under the CARES Act, emergency EIDL grants were to be made in the amounts of $10,000 within 3 days of receiving the applications. However, the SBA has taken much longer to disperse the funds to businesses. We should all know that because we're going on over a year now and businesses still haven't gotten it. Let me read on. SBA has taken much longer to disperse funds to businesses. Furthermore, the Trump administration used its discretionary authority to severely limit these awards, permitting businesses to claim just $1,000 per employee. This means that currently a sole proprietor or a family-run business with only 2 or 3 employees cannot receive the full $10,000 under the statute. When the SBA chose to place arbitrary limitations on award amounts and ration available funding rather than request new appropriations, as it was willing to do for PPP, it failed small businesses and small private nonprofits that had counted on these funds, is what you're saying here, sir. With the new $10 billion in emergency EIDL grants, the Interim COVID-19 Act provides the administration should remove limitations it imposed that prevents businesses from receiving the full $10,000 grant. Businesses that have previously received reduced grants because they had fewer than 10 employees should receive the full amount. And going forward, new recipients should receive full awards as well, regardless of their size. Furthermore, to prevent the administration from once again refusing to request additional appropriations when the program is fully prescribed, SBA should notify Congress as soon as the funds begin to run low, and rather cut the small amount of small businesses receive. In addition, it should dedicate the resources it received. You go on saying once again, so yeah, you were saying that they did not carry out the congressional intent. Sir, is that your signature? Move this up a little bit so everybody can see this. Wait, yeah, yours is right there. Yours is in bright blue, I believe. Is that yours? The big blue Sharpie you may have used on this? Charles E. Schumer. Okay. I'd like to mark this as Exhibit B for Mr. Charles Schumer as well. Next, I would like to bring up the next page here on Maxine Waters' website, right here, about the press release that she had put out on her website. If we go down, I'll go ahead and pull that up for you as well, Mr. Schumer, because it's the same document, but it's basically signed as you guys were promoting this as part of your campaign efforts to overthrow Donald Trump. And it was a great move, by the way. Great move. It worked. Okay, let me get this out and go into... Here we go. We are going now to Maxine Waters, U.S. House Committee. I would like to know, sir, and more public information as well. Maxine Waters, this is the same document claiming that Carranza did not, and Mnuchin was in on it too, that they did not follow the intent of the CARES Act to give the small businesses the $10,000 that they were allowed under the statute. I would like to know, sir, is that your name with in between Pelosi and Velasquez, Mr. Schumer? Yes, it is. Okay, good. Please let records show that Mr. Schumer's name is also on this Maxine Waters website for the Committee of Small Businesses. I'm sorry, what is it? What website is this? It's her website. U.S. House Committee on Financial Services is Maxine Waters, I believe, is the chairwoman of this. On great site, yeah, House Committee of Financial Services. I see Maxine Waters here. She is the grand poobah of that committee. Okay, well, with that said, I also know that there was a time in August, if I can find that now. I am looking now at the Press Republic, Mr. Schumer, and I would like to go down to the EIDL part where you had mentioned here, small businesses, nonprofits, fewer than, let me make sure that one is it. Nope, the EIDL for small businesses would provide a total of $180 billion in additional appropriations. EIDL program, $100 billion for the loan program and $80 billion for the advanced grant program to lift the SBA imposed caps of $150,000. I do believe that those caps have not been lifted as of today. I believe they are in the process, hopefully. And then you go on to say, and eliminate the SBA policy providing $1,000 per employee for EIDL grants to ensure all loan applicants receive the full $10,000 grants by the CARES Act. This was, I believe, August 21, sir, and you were in Peru this day, and this was what you had said. Did you say that you would ensure that you would ensure all loan applicants receive the full $10,000 grant by CARES Act? Okay, well, if you did, let's just say I don't see anything in there, sir, about low-income communities only. And in everything that you have said and stated throughout all of these papers, throughout all of the documents that I've just given you, sir, you said nothing about low-income communities only. And this is prior to the election. Is there a reason why you did not state that this was for low-income communities only? And if there is, then can you explain to the people, and we would like to ask right now, because we have a big question for you, sir, is who put Section 331 in the HEROES Act, American Heroes Act? Who puts the Section 331 in there? Let me bring that up for you real quick. I'm going to go ahead and pull this document that I have over as far as an investigation that we had going on was concerned. And these were some of the questions that we had with that investigation, where I am going to, if I can make this bigger, I don't know if I can or not. Maybe if I could just do this part right here. Because right here in this, the names, we were wondering who the names of were who wrote Section 331 in the Targeted EIDL Advance for Small Business Continuity, Adaptation, and Resiliency program, specifically sections pertaining to eligibility of the term covered entity. It means an eligible entity that applies for the loan under Section 7B2, Small Act of U15 U.S.C. 636B2, during the covered period, including before the date enactment of this act, is located in a low-income community and has suffered economic loss greater than 30% and employs not more than 300 employees. Sir, with everything that we just read, where was any of this in in the papers that we just read, there was nothing at all included in this, in any of this. So we're wondering who put that section 331 in there. The American people would like to know. With that being said, with the questions that I've asked Chuck Schumer, I am done with this witness. I may want to call him back later on a few more issues that we have regarding the CARES Act. Let me actually, no, I'm not done with him. Let me just ask him this next. Because if it was the intent of the CARES Act, this is not the intent of the CARES Act. And let me go into the CARES Act and pull that up, and we will see what that said. Okay, sir, I am in the CARES Act now, as you can see it. I will try to make this bigger for you and for me. I wear glasses as well. This is the CARES Act, Section 1110, the EIDL Grant 15 at USC 636B2, also known as 7B2. Are you familiar with this? Are you familiar? I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. Well, this act was signed by, if you don't know, 96 of the Senate. Every one of you in the Senate signed. Everybody. You all signed this. And this is kind of what we are holding up to you. Pursuant to Section 1110 of Keeping America's Workers Paid and Employed Act, because this was for American, so you wouldn't collect unemployment. People wouldn't be collecting unemployment. They would get this money, and it would keep them from firing employees or themselves when they couldn't open their doors to keep their businesses running. Pursuant to Section 1110 of Keeping the American Worker Paid Employed Act, January 31st, 2020 to December 2020, an employer with 500 employees or less, sole proprietorship with or without employees, or as independent contractor cooperative with not more than 500 employees, and SOP 15 USC 632 with not more than 500 employees, or a tribal small business concern with not more than 500 employees is eligible to apply for a one-time $10,000 grant. No personal guarantee is required. The business must have been in existence on January 31st, 2020. The applicant does not have to show that it could not otherwise obtain credit. The SBA may, one, approve an applicant based solely on credit score and not. Okay, and with that said, the applicant does not have to show that it could not otherwise obtain credit. So we didn't have to worry about credit scores with this grant as well. It was a grant. The SBA may approve an applicant based solely on the credit score and not require a tax return or transcript for such approval. Use alternate appropriate methods to determine applicant's ability to pay. The applicant may request an advance not to exceed $10,000 within 3 days. Do you know anybody that did get that $10,000 within 3 days that was not a business over 10,000 or over 10 people? I'm sorry. No, because she went to $1,000 per employee, which she wasn't supposed to do, right? Okay. The applicant may request an advance not to exceed $10,000 within 3 days. The SBA receives the application for the Emergency Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Before disbursement, the SBA is required to verify eligibility, which requires self-certification by the applicant under penalty of perjury pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1746. An advance provided may be used for allowable purposes, including paid sick leave, mortgage payments, repaying obligations that cannot be met due to revenue losses, meeting. Okay, it goes towards their business. Sir, I just need to know: is this the CARES Act? And if it is, then is it the intent to only low-income communities only? If that's not the intent for low-income communities only, and as well, businesses that were supposed to get $10,000 only got $1,000 per employee. Businesses with only one employee only got $1,000, and they had to shut down their business, and they were closed down due to COVID. I don't understand this. This is what we're talking about. And what I'd like to know is, you came off and you said the shadow of Donald Trump still looms, sir. Is this part of the shadow of Donald Trump that's still looming that you're talking about? Because this is a big shadow that looms over the small business community out there that are not in low-income communities. We would like to look forward into calling this witness back to the stand, and we will bring him back for further questioning if needed. I would like to now call Jackie Rosen up. I don't want to call Jackie Rosen up yet. I would like to ask that we submit. Well, first I want to submit this CARES Act as Exhibit D, and the other ones I would like to submit also as Exhibit A, B, and C, with the CARES Act being Exhibit D for Charles Schumer. I would also like to submit this Jackie Rosen talking in the Senate as Exhibit E, please. If I could get that tape up here. Let me see if I can pull that up.
Isabel Guzman is the right person.
This is, I want you to hear this.
Full EIDL loans and grants are what Congress intended.
I would like this to be Exhibit E. Is this Exhibit E or F? A, B, C, D. This is Exhibit E. I would like to use this as Exhibit E. This is Rosen in the Senate. I would like to see if she is saying here, stating that it was a promise and the intent of Congress in the CARES Act to deliver this bill. Let's check it out.
Full EIDL loans and grants are what Congress intended when we passed the CARES Act 1 year ago. It's what we promised small businesses at the beginning of the pandemic. So we owe it to America's small businesses and workers to keep our word. And I know Isabel Guzman is the right person.
Okay, there it is. Jackie Rosen has simply stated, and I would just like to bring that forward as Exhibit E, that the state senator from Nevada, Jackie Rosen, just stated that it was a promise that they had promised the American people and the intent in Congress in the CARES Act. So that's the state senator from Nevada saying, yes, that was a promise and the intent of Congress. Then this is the one that I would like, this is also to be Exhibit E. If I could please get that submitted. And I would like to say I'm done with Chuck Schumer for this moment. I have many more with signatures that have signed these. If I can go ahead and bring their names up into these that are also on this signature, I would like to do that. Also signed this documentation as well was Christopher Coons, United States Senator Christopher Coons, United States Senator Ben Cardin, and United States Senator Bernie Sanders has signed Exhibit A that I had brought up. Those were the ones that signed the Exhibit A. I would like to also make sure that their names are included in that. And Exhibit B, the names on this signature that also shows that they were supposed to give us the intent of the CARES Act that they promised us. I would like to say Nancy Pelosi, Schumer. I see Nydia Velazquez, who's the chairwoman and House Committee of Small Businesses. Benjamin Cardin, our ranking member, and he is the member of the Small Business Senate Committee. Maxine Waters is the chairman of the Committee on Financial Services. Haven't heard from her either, but we'll get her on the stand. Sherrod Brown, ranking member of the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, is also signed this. This was Exhibit B. I believe this was Exhibit C, the one with Maxine Waters, her website, which was a duplicate, kind of a copy of Exhibit B. So with these put forth as evidence, I would like to say that I would like just to dismiss Schumer from this moment, but also I would like to be able to call him back to answer more questions more accurately because he's just a picture right now. But I'm just giving you what he gave us. This is just a small piece to this puzzle. It's just a small piece of what has happened to the American small businesses, and this is just one of the players. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way. If I can come over here, he's just one of the players. A major one. A major one. It's Schumer. It's Chuck Schumer. He's pretty important. He's the head of the Senate. You know, he's the lead majority of the Senate Majority Leader. So with this being said, I know it's a very long video. I would like, once again, to say anybody who wants to use this video, use it. Anybody who wants to share this video, feel free to share it as well, and get it out there to media, get it out there to your representatives as well. Please do your due diligence with this. This is Schumer. We are going to next be calling another witness out here to ask them almost the same questions, but in a different way, to make sure that we are getting the full story and the truth behind all of it.